Oops, sorry about that. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Teen Producers Project Screening Showcase. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jay Kanyarasmi. I am one of the teaching artists for the class, and we would like to start our day today with the Teen Producers Project Intro Class Showcase. This class is particularly focusing on documentary. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our wonderful, brilliant filmmakers on screen. Okay, so we have Armand, Sarah, Michelle, Wesley, and Riley. Everybody say hi. So yes, so these are all brilliant filmmakers. And now what's different about this class is we are actually putting these filmmakers into groups. So we had our first group. So these are our first group. Um, okay, actually, these are one of the groups. We have Armand and Wesley. So again, you both say hi. So that, and then these filmmakers are making wonderful movies together. And then the next one, we have Michelle and Riley. So yeah, here they are. Say hi, everybody. And then yeah, so and then lastly, we have one person in class. Her name is Sarah. She makes the documentary by herself. So yeah, this is Sarah, like bright and early. So that's the introduction of the class. As you guys probably guessed, we have three beautiful documentaries going to be screened in class. And yeah, we are going to actually start one right now. Let's start with Sarah's documentary. The title is called School's Out. It's about a young student who, so everyone's documentaries in this particular class is so happen to be rotating around coronavirus, and that includes Sarah's too. So in the case of Sarah's, we are going to follow this one young student falling through her struggles of going to school in the middle of the pandemic. So without further ado, let's watch Sarah School's Out.
This year has brought a lot of changes to us all, including and especially school students. One of these said students is Maya Murchison, a freshman from Eastlake High School who had to make the transition from middle school to high school, an already big step in a young student's life, during a global pandemic. This is just a little look into how her year went.
So on March 13th was our first day of quarantine, and I remember that we had school still because it was on a Friday, and I was excited because I was like another week of spring break. But then it started getting serious, and now we're here. Yeah, for me it was good enough. I don't know. I think I really was hoping for the 8th grade graduation, where you went through this lane that we have in front of our school. That's usually the bus circle, and you go through it, and all your favorite teachers and staff and the principal are cheering for you, and you get your yearbook and a t-shirt, and and yeah, they were like throwing, I don't know, like candies, and it was really fun. And they had like big signs to take pictures, um, like 8th grade graduate. I really like seeing my friends and my teachers. I liked my teachers, and then once we started online, all that was taken away. I guess like you can't see your friends, and everybody has their cameras off. I'm looking forward to getting back and like going to football games. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be really fun, and because like cheering and you're all. I would want obviously for Corona to be over as soon as possible, so I could go back and like I don't know, have like my freshman year, I guess. I have learned a lot of things during quarantine. I think I've learned a lot more about myself just in general. Also just like I like spending time with my family, and I learned how to surf, and I learned how to play ukulele and guitar. Obviously I would want to go away as soon as possible so everything can go back to normal, and so that everybody can be safe and like healthy again. Bye.
Wow, that's a beautiful documentary made by Sara Gomez. That's beautifully done, Sara. So, yeah, without further ado, Sara would like to say a few words.
Okay, well, first I would like to say thank you to the Media Arts Center of San Diego, and especially my teacher, Jay, because she taught us so much and every class was fun and it really brightened up my week. I also want to say a special thank you to my cousin Maya, who was the main subject of this documentary, because if it wasn't for her quarantining with me, we wouldn't have been able to film in person. And so lastly, my thank you goes out to my dad for signing me up for the class and encouraging me to really try something new, which was making a documentary, which I'd never done before. So yeah, it has really,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it has really made these last few months so fun, especially because we're not really doing a lot of things because of being in quarantine. So it made a lot of worthwhile time for me. And so I was inspired to make my documentary about the struggles that students have faced this year because I recently graduated and now I have kind of a dual perspective on school that I had never had before. And this story is especially important to me because this year I saw firsthand how my sisters and my cousins who are students really had difficulties with school, and I had never really seen them struggle like that. And the format of my documentary was a little bit more unique than it would have been. A special thank you to Maya's dog Luna because she needed a walk when we were going to film. And although she ruined a few shots with her bathroom breaks, I'm glad that our movie had an outside setting, which was a really welcome change from almost a year in our houses in quarantine. So I hope you enjoyed Schools Out and maybe it helped you understand a student in your life a little bit more. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sara. That was beautiful. Yeah, so I was actually have a couple of questions for you, but you seems to answer it in your beautiful speech. For audience, families and friends, if you guys have any questions, please write it down on, if you're on Facebook, write it down on YouTube, please write it down, and then I will relay that questions to Sara. Yeah, so while we're waiting for the audience to give a lot of their questions to you, Sarah, I have a couple of questions. Some of them were actually answered in your speech. But yeah, so remember like in the beginning of the class, so the flow of this class is I made the students think or concept the movies before they can start, doing it, right? So what was the initial idea that made you want to interview Maya in this case?
Well, my first idea was actually completely different. It was about music in quarantine and how musicians are dealing with not being able to see people. But then I wanted it to be more personal to my life, and my parents are teachers, my aunts and uncles are counselors, teachers, principals, and so that's where I'm around school. But school was definitely not the same this year, so I wanted to show that.
Got it. Yeah, so personal. So definitely, like bringing something that is personal is definitely key in documentary, and I think you did a great job of making it so personal. So next question, let's see. Do you have any unexpected changes that happened during shooting this documentary that you appreciate the most? That's just, if this doesn't happen, this movie wouldn't be made, or something like that.
Yeah, so one unexpected change was that I had to make the documentary alone. And that kind of made some shifts with my contacts for the interviewees. And so last minute, I had to ask my cousin. But it really worked out since we are in a quarantine bubble because with the other interviewees, I thought I was going to have at the beginning, it was all on Zoom. And it's just not the same. Of course, it's safer for people who you're not quarantined with, but since I was already with her, it was just perfect.
Definitely. Yeah, it's actually like it was a definitely change of air. Actually my which is related to my next question. How does it feel like shooting like outdoor in person, interviewing your cousin? Yeah, how does that make you feel?
It made me feel really happy, and it was kind of like we were just having a casual talk. I mean, we talk all the time, and so it felt just like that, except I had a camera this time, so it was a lot more relaxing, and we already know each other, so that just kind of takes care of the connection too.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It does feel like very relaxing for sure. Like when we watch that movie, since it's like outside and with like a lot of fresh air, it definitely reminds us back to like old filmmaking times of like old movies when we just shoot outside and go. So that's very good. Okay. My next question is very important actually. Did you learn something valuable during shooting this documentary? Like anything at all?
Um, I guess something valuable that I learned while shooting the documentary in particular was having it all planned out ahead of time. Because if I did not know that I wanted this specific B roll in the final cut, and oh, I want this part to have a voiceover, then my shots and what I filmed would not have been useful to me. But since I went into the filming already knowing what I needed, it really helped the process of editing afterwards just so much easier.
Right, definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, learning how to get like B rolls and A rolls in this class is something like I personally like value, from like, and I'm very, very happy that students get to learn that a lot. And Sarah also did a great job in like capturing all that. So good job. Thumbs up for you, Sarah. Um, so yeah, we have a question here. It's from Anna. Your documentary feels like being outdoor with Maya and personal. Looking back, does Maya feel that being at home with family is something she'll cherish and miss when things go back to normal? That's a great question.
Well, I think that she will miss it because at the end of the documentary, she talked about all the things she learned because she was in quarantine, all the things she did that she maybe wouldn't have done if she wasn't in quarantine. And so, yeah, I think she's gonna miss spending so much quality time with her family because, with in-person school, you're very busy and you're not at home. But yeah, I think she would.
Yeah, definitely. Um, did you feel like you become closer to Maya after doing a documentary with her?
Yes, I definitely was. I mean, we were already pretty close and inseparable to begin with, but now after being in a quarantine bubble for almost an entire year, we're kind of the only people who can see each other like safely. So we have been talking so much. I mean, we sleep over at each other's houses like every weekend. So yes, we're definitely closer.
Oh, that's very good. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. That was very um, informational, and like it does definitely like touches our heart, reminds us like what it feels like being out there and back before quarantine time, and it does makes us want to go further and make, you know, people want to get out from this quarantine, this pandemic situation as much as we could help with. So thank you so much for that movie, Sarah. One last round of applause for Sarah and her beautiful movie. Oh, yes, there you go. That's Maya. Come say hi to us, Maya. Hi, that's our beautiful interviewee, our subject. Hi,
Hi,
Maya. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for sharing your story to us. That was very beautiful.
Thank you.
Cool. So thank you so much, you two. And now we shall move on to the next movie. So, next one we have, excuse me, a documentary that is quite funny about pets in pandemic, in quarantine time. So, have you ever thought, any of you, some of you might have like pets at home, right? So, have you guys ever put some attention to your pets and like, what are they doing? What are they thinking when we're like at home all the time? Do you think they've been helping us during this tough time? So to dive deep into this topic, we have Michelle and Riley's documentary, Pets, How Are They?
During the beginning of quarantine, when information about COVID-19 was still rising, there were false rumors being spread about pets being able to carry the virus and infect the people around them. Many people who heard these rumors quickly reacted and abandoned their animals using methods such as throwing them out the window. Now that there's more information about the virus and the general panic has died down, we decided to dive deeper and find out for ourselves, how has quarantine personally affected our pets?
Are you happier during quarantine, sadder, or the same, Gary?
Are you happier during quarantine, sadder, or the same?
How has your daily routine changed since quarantine?
I think it makes him happier because there's people around him all the time. But I'd say his behavior is basically the same.
My fish, like when they see my face, they think they're getting fed because that's usually when I go see them. So, since I'm home more often and I do my classes in my kitchen where I can see the fish tank, I see them swimming to the place where I feed them.
I think more because he's been able to see more people and then he loves eating stuff, including human.
I mean, they haven't bitten anyone since they are fish.
I noticed that every time someone comes in the house, he always jumps out the door at them, but then he'll never like run away. He'll always follow them back in the house because he likes meeting new people.
Oh, I've noticed that they actually play with each other. Like they would chase each other. Like once they finished eating, and the fish are just like still. One fish will get bored, and then they start chasing each other, and it's really cute.
No. It's basically the same. I sit on the couch and he stands next to me and then either lays there or he nibbles at my fingers.
Since they see my face more, when I'm not just feeding them, they're less scared of me. So I think we become closer. We're definitely a lot more closer than before quarantine. Quarantine has been difficult for everyone involved. Our pets can be a source of comfort for these tough times. Value your pets and show them your appreciation. Don't be the people who threw them out the window. They're not even hungry, they just want more food.
Oh, crap.
Wonderful documentary by Riley and Michelle. Pets, how are they? Nice. Great job, guys. So, yeah, they also have a couple of words to say. So the floor is all yours, guys.
There we go. Um, we want to start this off with a special thank you to our pets who work so hard to help us make the best documentary possible. We also want to thank our parents for all their help with their documentaries. Finally, we want to thank Jay and the whole media arts program for teaching us how to make our masterpieces. We chose to make our documentary about our pets because we thought it would be cute and funny, and I think we accomplished our goal.
So, like, more in depth on what made us decide we wanted to make our documentary about our pets was basically we were brainstorming and we're like, what do we have the most quick access to, and like what seems like the most fun to film? And out of all of them, obviously making a documentary about our own pets was like the option that had the best fit. So, so in the documentary, obviously we interviewed ourselves and then like our imitation interviews about our pets. And basically, like the whole documentary, it was really fun and putting it all together with the music. I think it made it really enjoyable for everyone else watching. And I'd also like to thank everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, you guys. That was a great job that you did. Okay, so again, audience, if you guys have any questions or any comments about the documentary at all, please write them down and then I will read it to the filmmakers so that they can answer it for you. Yes, so on top of that, if any of your family members or friends so happen to miss this showcase, we can actually watch it again on video on Vimeo on demand with the link down below. Yes, while accessing that, we are requesting some donations. So feel free to do like give as much as you'd willing to do, and then please enjoy our showcase whenever you want to watch it again. So that being said, we have a couple of comments here. First, we have from Nathaniel Pope. It's really cool how important pets have becoming during pandemic. Great jobs making that into a mockumentary. Definitely, this is the genre. Um, and we also have from Karima, the music gave your video a whimsical quality. It's very entertaining. I totally agree on that. And I believe we also had from Joyce. She said, great documentary. So definitely it is. So again, if any of you have any comments or questions, please ask these awesome filmmakers. They've done a lengthful process to make this documentary happen for sure. So let's start from me. I was going to ask why pets, but you guys already answered it because it's fun. Do you have any other reasons why pets? Like,
Well, I just knew like our other two ideas had to do with school, whether it's students or teachers. And I just felt like that was gonna be something that like our other classmates would do. So yeah, that I thought that would be like a unique idea.
right, definitely. Um, so Riley, do you want to add up to that or
Um, I think I was literally like sitting in my room when we were doing the assignment for ideas for documentaries, and I just turned around and saw Gary, my dog, laying on my bed, and then I wanted to make a documentary about Gary, so I wrote down going after pets, and then I think I was the one that asked Michelle if she'd want to do that, and then we both agreed, and that was how that happened.
Oh, that was great. Brainstorming by looking around, definitely. Okay, so that being said, it involves like this documentary involves like animals, right? It'll be your pets. Is there any ever like moments when they fight back? Well, not fight back, but like they would, do something funny maybe when you're shooting. Is there any funny experience at all that happened during your shooting?
Well, personally, for me, not really. It's just a lot of waiting for them to do what I wanted them to do and get the shot that I envisioned them because they're fish and I obviously can't tell them what to do. So like if I want them in a certain part of the fish tank, I had to like just sit there and wait until they swam there, and it was just a very patient process.
Definitely. Yeah, you did it very patiently, and I think it paid off really well. How about you, Riley? How's Gary?
He actually wasn't that bad because he will obey me if I just hold his bag of treats, which then I just did that, and then so it was actually super easy.
Great. That's good. So my next question is, so what happens in this class is like everyone gets to conceptualize, shoot, and edit and finalize everything from basically beginning to the end. Is there a favorite part of this filmmaking process for this documentary?
My favorite part was like the editing and like putting everything together because filming it was like meh and like getting the footage, but just like putting it in there and then having everything together, especially like picking out the music, like picking out like finding the perfect music that matches like the mood of the documentary. That was my favorite part. It's just like everything came together.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, the music and editing were so well done. Good job, Michelle and Riley. And I think Michelle's like the ones who picked the music, right? So good job on that. It does definitely like give that whimsical effect to it, with like that classical music in the beginning and at the end the guitar strums. It was hilarious. I loved it. Riley, what about you?
Mine is also probably the editing. It was fun to see like taking random videos and then putting them together and then actually making me chuckle was fun.
Indeed. So, yeah, how does it feel like interviewing each other? Because, when we had Michelle on screen, it was actually Riley who interviewed her, right? How does that feel for you both?
It was like I can say relaxing because I've been through like multiple like official serious interviews, um, and I'm always scared that I'm gonna mess up. And when I do, I'm just like, oh god. But when we interviewed each other and if we messed up, we'd just be like, okay, well, just time to redo it and time to get like a better answer. So it wasn't like stressful. It was just really fun.
Cool. What about you, Riley?
Um, the interview process was definitely a little annoying because it definitely took a couple
Why?
tries to find good lighting and not have an airplane fly over. It took a little, and to figure out how to record it. That took us like 2 days also. But we did it eventually, but I did not enjoy that.
Well, you should give more credit to yourself because I think you did spectacular work. Yeah, for the interview. So it was all paid off really well, guys. Like we didn't know, but yeah, that's filmmaking, right? It was like hard backstage, but when we presented, it was so beautiful. Everyone was like, "Wow!" And actually, we have a question coming. It's from Krima. Did you record your interviews on Zoom?
We did. We tried recording on like multiple like other ways, and our first option was Zoom, but then we couldn't get Zoom to work, and then we did a full whole circle back to Zoom after like having 2 other tries with other platforms. It was a ride, but we were able to make it work with Zoom.
Is there but did you feel like this experience of doing interviews on Zoom useful for you guys?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if Riley wants to answer, but it was useful because especially I had another project where I had to film myself and record while like using like features that Zoom had, and then I remembered from our interview how it worked. It was definitely really helpful for me.
Riley? What about you? Oh, what about you, Riley? Do you have any comments on that? Mm. Can you hear us, Riley? Okay. Riley seems to having a little bit of internet difficulties, but other than that, I guess that's the end of this for this movie. So again, big round of applause for Michelle and Riley and their wonderful whimsical documentary. Great job, you guys. And let's move on to our next movie. So, we are going to watch the very last movie that's produced on this Teen Producers Project intro class by Armand and Wesley. It's another like contemplative kind of documentary, if I can say that myself. Um, so everyone who doesn't miss going out to the gym, right, or doing any physical work outside, because we're like forced to stay inside to sustain this from spreading and all. We have to. There's just so much that we can do inside the house, right, including physical activities. So on this particular documentary, we're going to watch how is it affecting people who rely so much on physical activities, including especially athletes. So without further ado, let's watch Coronavirus and Athletes.
My name is Aiden Sirk, and I go to High Tech High Chula Vista.
My name is Chris Briscoe, Coach Briscoe. I am a PE teacher at Patrick Henry High School. That's what I do. So I'm into sports, basketball, football, baseball.
Before quarantine, I was on the varsity cross country team for my school and also the track team. The pandemic has definitely affected my practice and workout schedule just because I'm not working as a team or with my team, so it affects like how I'm working out because I'm not having other people to push me on my times and stuff, and I don't have a coach to also direct me on what I have to do.
As a teacher, that's us being a role model. That's what we should be doing, is trying to get kids to believe in themselves and believe that they want to go to college, they can go do that. If they need to go work, they need to just believe in themselves and take the proper measurements to get there.
Since the start, I've been going on my own runs. Like my daily average was around maybe 9 miles a day for 5 days a week. That's how I was trying to keep up, and I was also trying to do workouts on my own. What bothers me the most is that I feel that I missed out on a really big year, pretty much. Number one, I lost my track season because it didn't finish at all, and I didn't get to go to any more meets other than the first one that I actually did. I feel that it's going to really affect me long term because I can't put on my college applications that I had this time for freshman year, and they can't really see how I improved in 1 year over in sophomore year. So that kind of sucks.
I think at the beginning, it was difficult for all of us. I really never did Zoom. Everybody's been very helpful in getting us all the teachers moving along with this process of learning about teaching online. So it's gotten better.
I want to get back to actually practicing. My second goal is to beat my times than last year.
I don't think it's good. I think that, honestly, we need to be back in school. We really need to be back in school. But like I said, as long as it's the right time for it.
Wow, that was very deep. So here are our filmmakers, Armand and Wesley. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing that beautiful documentary with us. Yeah, um, the floor is yours.
So I guess I think I'd want to thank it's my partner, of course, Wesley, because he added in like the subtitles and everything, and he showed me a lot about like editing in general, because he's done something kind of like this before. So yeah, it was cool. I had like someone who was more experienced. I'd also like to thank Jay for helping us out a lot also, because we were falling behind for a while, and she really helped us. And of course, um, the interviewees, Aiden Sturck and Coach Briscoe. Um, Aiden's my friend, so it was easy to um, interview him, and Wesley interviewed his coach. So yeah, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to my parents, Jay, everyone at Team Producers Project, and my coach, the interviewees, everyone, my partner, of course, and yeah, everyone. It was really helpful. So yeah, so I just want to say that, of course, you're aware that it's regarding the troubles many athletes are facing during this time, and you could say it's kind of personal since I was one of those athletes. I play tennis, and I was going to play on the tennis team, which is something I haven't done before. I was really excited, but I didn't have the chance. But it was more since it was more about the missed opportunity for a lot of the more serious athletes that they were experiencing, and I felt really bad for them. So I just wanted to talk about that. And of course, it's not like one of the main problems of COVID, of course, but I just thought it was unique and important regarding like my lifestyle and my peers' lifestyles. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do it.
Thank you so much. That was lovely. Yeah, definitely. It's very unique. So it's good, Wesley, that you brought up that you're actually like an athlete yourself, so you can relate to these people. Which brings me to my first questions. How did you find these subjects? Like, you know, yeah, how did you find them?
Well, Aiden is my friend, and he was just on the track team, and like he was the first person who came to my mind, because he's always talking about like every time we're talking, he always has to go run. So I thought like, he's the most athletic person available, so why not?
Oh, Wesley, for some reason you're on mute.
Yeah,
You were on for a second there. And
okay.
then, okay, you're good now.
Yeah, Coach Briscoe is my own PE teacher from school, and I just felt like it was pretty easy. He seemed pretty disappointed that he couldn't like teach sports, like athletics in person. So I thought he was a good candidate for good interviewee to give his point of view. Yeah.
Definitely. We have a comment, first comment by Dean. It was inspirational and unique, they say. Indeed, right? Which yeah, that was actually, I don't know, it was like the whole movie seems to be like well thought of, like Armand has an athlete friend and Wesley has a coach that's willing to be interviewed, and if for some reason like everything well so well, is it the editing, it's like how you concept the whole thing together. So did you discuss this a lot, like the concept, these two people talking about how they're being affected and then mesh everything together into this documentary? Like, how did you guys figure that out, like, to be the movie that it is right now?
Yeah. So initially we're just doing school stuff, but then she told us that it would be better for PE, and we were like, yeah, that's or for physical athletics, and we thought that'd be perfect. So yeah, we had those two people, and they were really they were perfect because they were experiencing these troubles that a lot of people are facing, and they were willing to be interviewed. And we just thought about how those two people could go really well together, and how we wanted.
um Wesley, you're kind of muted, like at the very end. Would you mind repeating that?
It kind of made itself like it was, you know, we both had these people that were experiencing this, and I was experiencing it, and I was like, yeah, I offered this concept, and he was very accepting of that and excited as well as was I.
Yeah, definitely, that was great. We have a new comment. It is from Karima. They say it was somber seeing the empty schools and sports field. Good job showing their perspective. Totally. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit actually. So, what made you guys took that B-rolls? What was the concept thing behind that? Because it is very somber and not bitter. Like, yeah, very reflective in a way, seeing like how this pandemic shifting from like a students packed school into an empty school that you guys shot. What was the idea behind that?
Well, like it kind of like I don't I didn't plan too much for that, but it kind of just happened because the B-roll we filmed, it did look kind of I guess sad. I think so. It ended up looking kind of like very yeah, somber, and then we added the music, so like um it made the whole like atmosphere kind of deep and kind of yeah, kind of personal. Yeah, so yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, I just want to say he chose the music, and I felt that it was a great choice. Yeah, that definitely solidified the mood, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
definitely. Definitely. Wesley, you did a lot of the B-rolls too, right? I believe. Like
yeah,
that's like your school, I think.
that's my school. Yeah, Patrick Henry High. And
Yeah,
I just went there one day, and I was like, yo, this it's pretty good footage. These empty fields. Sad.
definitely. So, I don't know. What did you guys feel when you go to school? Because you actually went outside, go to your school, finding it's all empties and stuff. What did you guys, what's your first comment on that, I guess?
I guess. I mean, for me, it was kind of nostalgic because like I saw like the specific areas where my friends and I would hang out, so that was kind of sad for me. But it was yeah, like it fit really well.
Yeah, it was definitely when I went there too. That was a little early because it's not like detrimental. You can like put that anywhere in it. It's related. So that was early in production, and seeing that definitely made me choose to go with this specific mood and tone. And yeah, it was sad. Nostalgic. Made me think of what could have been. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, it definitely feels like sad, like going to schools and there was like nobody, and like seeing your favorite hanging out spot, favorite like eating spot, and there's like nobody there, classes empties and stuff. And yeah, do you guys miss going back to school, like physically? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand, of course, everyone understands that it's important to be safe, to keep everyone safe, but there are a lot of things like, social stuff and obviously athletic stuff that you're missing. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, last question for me. So, since this whole documentary is talking about the pandemic, what are you guys going to do once this is all over? It's the first thing you guys gonna do.
Well, I mean, you know, once I go back to school, I'm probably gonna hang out with some friends. Try to get on the tennis team again if I can. Um, Try to recoup what was denied. But there's a lot of people who obviously the interviewees who lost something more lost a lot more than I did. So that they can't really get back. So they just have to deal with that and try harder, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm sure there is a way for them. I think it's a great start, right? Like when everyone's finally be able to practice again. And I'm sure you can also like start again back at school. So that's very nice. Thank you. What about you, Armand?
Um, for me, I the same thing, like hang out with my friends and stuff. But I'm like I've I think for some reason I've been more motivated to do more things, um, because of the quarantine, which is kind of weird. But I think I'm like willing to try out more activities and like maybe even like a new sport or something. But yeah.
That's great. Well, I hope all of these wishes come true once this is all over, which I can feel it's coming very soon, with the vaccines and stuff being like they're producing it and stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much, you both, for the wonderful movie. It was very well made, very well edited, and the music is amazing. It really adds up to the mood, and I am so proud to have all of these wonderful movies, including you guys here. So, good job. Very good job. So, yeah, that is the last movie from Teen Producers Project Intro Class. Again, as a reminder, if any of the family members or friends who missed the screening, you can always access it back on our Vimeo on demand link, which is down there below. And please reach out to that link, and then you can watch this whenever you want. And if any of you are parents or having kids that are within the teen age, feel free to join our class. I believe we will have another class coming in spring, in the summer, and then the fall as well, I believe. So feel free to reach out to us, Media Arts Center San Diego, so that you can have this wonderful experience of filmmaking documentaries. So this is the last of our film and the last of our intro class. I would like to say a great, great thank you for the audience. I would like to say a great thank you for the families, for the parents who've put their children in this program. I'm sure hopefully, they learned some stuff in this class, especially about filmmaking documentaries. And I would also like to say thank you for our funders. Without your help, this class would be basically non to exist. And I would like to say thank you for the filmmakers. And here they are, also saying goodbye. Thank you guys so much for participating. This has been a wonderful class with you guys. And that is TPP intro. So I'd like to say goodbye for everyone and thank you for watching. Bye, buddy. Now, Audience, I would like you to stay in this screening because next one we have our TPP Advanced class showing after the intermission. So please stay here and grab some water, grab some popcorn more because we're gonna have another awesome movies shown after this. So once again, this is Jay. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you very soon.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special presentation of Cold Shoulder brought to you by the Teen Producers Project. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Moises, Ethan, and Ryan, who are working tirelessly behind the scenes here at the Digital Gym to make all of this possible. Today, it's exciting because we get to celebrate a film that was made completely during a pandemic. And so I'd like to introduce you to the filmmakers. But before I do, a little bit about the program of how the kids and the teenagers came to make this film. We got together starting every Saturday in September, and we went through from the conception of the film through to the finished product, through pre-production, along to production, editing, and then finalizing the film with color grading and sound design. And today you get to share in watching this gem. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to Isabel, who has been the producer of the project, and she'll introduce you to the rest of the team. Isabel, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. So our short film is called Cold Shoulder, and it's really just about love and loss. And so we really wanted to portray these feelings of grief that a person can feel by giving the audience a glimpse inside of our main character's head, just to show the real darkness that can come when losing someone, especially when it's a father-daughter relationship. So I hope you all enjoy this film that we worked really hard on.
Isabel, let's maybe introduce the filmmakers, and then I'll get the film going for everybody.
So would you like me to introduce everyone?
Yeah, sure. We'll maybe do tag team. Maybe you introduce somebody, and then they'll introduce the next person, so that we have that passing of the torch, so to speak.
Yeah. So our director is Dean, and yeah, really great job directing. Dean, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure with everyone I've been working with. Isabel, great producer. Nathaniel, great advisor. And we got Ryan, who was our cinematographer.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a good experience, learned a lot. We've also got Brody, who did our sound and audio editing.
Yeah, hi. I'm Brody. I'm the sound guy. It was really fun working on this project. It was stressful, but you learn to work well under pressure. We also have Trinity, who was our writer.
Hi, it was really fun working on this project and seeing the project advance from writing to screen. Next, we also have Julianne, who helped with the camera and assistant directing.
Julianne's joining us from her phone, so pardon while it loads. Julianne, come in here when you can, if you can, and we'll introduce you then. Who have we introduced? Joel. Joel, you were assistant camera, and you also designed the beautiful poster for the film.
Oh, yeah, hello. Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching everybody do all their different jobs. I learned a lot. Yeah.
Is that everybody? Are we missing anybody? Somebody who can't be here today who we'd really like to thank is Ananda, and we'll have a Q&A after the film. So I just want everybody to see the faces before we show the film. Anybody else that we're missing? All right, I think that's everybody. There are limitations with the StreamYard program. So how we're going to do the presentation here is I have a YouTube link that I will that we will share for everybody. Moises, if you can hear me, if I paste in the chat here, will that show for everybody, or I'm sorry, give me 1 second here. I'm getting the link for everybody. All right, I have there we go. So this is the link for the film. It's currently 1:08 p.m. here in on the West Coast. So go to the link here. It's bit.ly 37CMLM3. And please change the setting to HD when you get in there. Film we will put up a temporary screen here and we're all going to go watch the movie. Here is the link on screen and hope you enjoy. A somber film for a somber year so far, and great film. Applauds for a virtual applaud for the filmmakers. And without further ado, I'd like to bring them up on stage here, starting with the director, Dean. Are you with us, Dean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the film was extremely fun to make. There were a lot of challenges that we faced, but we definitely, with help of our editors and our production team, we were able to overcome them. And I'm very proud of the team for the end result. And I think that our hard work was well worth the time that we put in. The outcome was.
Absolutely. So let's go over who did what on the film. Dean, do you want to take us through who did what and what was your vision for the movie and who is your team?
Yeah, so our team consisted of quite a few people, and so we got Ryan as our we got Trinity, and we got Ryan as our cinematographer, who we worked together during production, trying to get the best angles, best lighting, and all that jazz. And then we got Trinity as our writer, and she was able to formulate the script and the screenplay, and it was very well written. And then we got Brody, who was also on our production and post-production team for the sound, and he did a great job trying to he did the music, he did the sound effects, he did a great job managing the sound, even though there's a lot of wind during production, especially on the cliff. Yeah, and he was able to get that down tremendously. And then we got Isabel as our editor, and wow, she was able to do the lighting. She was able to fix it. The tints, those were all her, and me and Ryan and Trinity were there to assist her in any way we could. Then we got our actors, who we got Darren. Is there any way of... Right, Darren did an amazing job. I was very... Yeah. He did an amazing job with the performance, and yeah, no, I just couldn't see like a better team. Then we got Anika. Is she here?
I don't think she could make it, but she sends her best.
Yeah, and she also did a very great job. And then we got Julianne, and she was our AC along with Joel. They were both the ACs, and they helped a lot during production. And of course, Joel finalized the poster, which was amazing. And
are we able to share the screen? Let's show that poster if we can.
Yeah,
Moises, do you have that, or let me try and find that real quick. Or Joel, do you have it on your computer? Can you share your screen? I'd love to show everybody that.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Here we go. Moises has it on screen here, Joel.
Okay.
Thanks, Moises. Yeah, beautiful poster. It really captures the emotion.
Right. And the flower, that represents like his sense of, that's really in the end what made him realize, you know, what his life should be like from then on. And yeah. Overall, it was a great film to work on, and I had lots of fun making it with this team. Couldn't ask for a better team.
Let's go around the horn and get everybody's comments on it. So we'll go from Dean. We'll just go in order here. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, it's like everybody's been saying, like we had a lot of challenges and struggles, like trying to figure out when we could film stuff and like the equipment and like everything, the audio, the wind, but I think it turned out pretty good, and it was a lot of fun. Everybody worked really hard on it, so yeah.
Isabel, what was the I guess I'll just start the Q&A session. What was the editing process like for you?
Yeah, so the editing process in the beginning, we actually had a lot of technical difficulties with sending the Premiere file back and forth. But obviously, thank you to Nathaniel investing so much time in this and helping us through it. we were able to figure out a solution to editing, and from there on it was pretty smooth with just getting everything together on time.
Well, great job in that respect, Isabel. So I'm gonna let's see. Do we have any questions from the audience? And then I've got plenty of questions as well. So Karima says, "I liked the special effects when the ghost appears." Well, thank you, Karima. And then Andrew Thompson says, "Very well done." So let's start from the beginning. Let's take a step back. So it started with nothing. We stepped into the workshop in September, and we started with writing. And we spent a lot of time in the writing process. I think we spent 7 weeks writing this before we shot. Trinity, would you like to talk about the writing process and where the inspiration came from and what the writing process was like?
Sure, I'd love to. The writing process, like you said, took a long time. That was because of many reasons. First of all, when I was first writing this, I was not taking into account COVID restrictions. So I was writing scenes in indoor settings, which obviously would not work during the current climate of the coronavirus. So I had to make some minor changes, such as scenes and dialogue. And I'm really thankful to Nathaniel and a lot of the other students who kept on giving me suggestions to deepen the story and to add more elements to make the story what it is, what you see in the film now. Can I answer the question on screen?
Yeah, let's, sorry, I was getting a message from Julianne. She sends her best, but due to technical difficulties is going to have to step away, but she thanked everybody and sends her best. So 2-part question. Andrew asked, what were the most challenging and the most rewarding aspects of the project? And let's go to somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Brody, how about you?
Well, hi, I'm Brody. For this film, I came into the class the first day. I was just wondering like how we were going to do everything, because of COVID, because of COVID restrictions and all that other stuff. And we really came through. And so there were just so many challenging parts to this, whether it comes from actually coming up with the story that that Trinity did a really great job on, we spent a lot of time on, or if it came from actually producing it, finding locations and staying safe and working with COVID precautions. And then of course, in post-production, that's where my kind of struggle came in, because I had a lot to do, not a lot to do. I just had a lot on my plate with stuff like school and my and editing this. And it really came down to crunch time, to like the day before, like yesterday, I was still making edits to the thing before I showed it today. So that was a lot struggling for me, learning how to use this professional grade software, and really working with Nathaniel and Isabel, trying to make sure everything was perfect. And at first I thought I couldn't handle it, and I said, hey, can you see if anyone else could do sound? Because I really didn't know how to use the software. I didn't think I had enough time for it. And then I just decided, with their help, they motivated me to just do it, just work on it, and just try your best, and whatever comes out will be good, because I tried, and I did try. And so the most struggling part for me was actually doing it, and then that was also the most rewarding part, coming after and seeing it done.
As a fellow sound designer, Brody, I have to applaud what you did. The sound is amazing, and you really have quite a lot of talent there, and there's just so many layers to it, and the depth and the precision and the attention to detail, from the sounds of the phone to the sounds of just each environment, and how this is playing psychologically in his head. Can you tell us a little bit about what your thought process was and how you developed that style, and how did that come about?
Well, I've been doing sound just kind of recently with my last few projects. I've been noticing that sound is actually such a big part of filmmaking that I never realized. Because I didn't see it. I just started hearing it after they taught it to me, and so it started with just making the music and choose and making the music because that was the fun part. So that's the part I did first. Uh, and then I guess the whole sound and vibe, I think the one thing I tried to keep in mind was I needed to, elevate the tension and elevate the experience. I really wanted to get into the character's head. I wanted the audience to feel what he was feeling, and the visuals were doing that so well. And my job as an audio engineer, as a sound mixer, as the sound designer, as the composer was just to take that and elevate it. And so that's where the music came from. It was sad and it was dark and and it brought the whole thing, the tension up. That's where the sound effects came in. When I came up with her voice, I wanted it to be scary, and it came from all angles, and it really sounded distorted. And that put us into the character's shoes. And I guess that's where I was coming from, was just everything, all the choices I made, all the creative choices was just, does this feel like what the character's feeling?
And yeah, great approach and great way to articulate and share it with everybody, Brody. I'd like to pass the torch to Ryan, because you referred to the visuals. Ryan, as far as the style goes, in the visual style, what was your approach like?
It was my first time using the C100 camera, it was a little hard to learn how to use it at first, but I think I got a little better at it over time. I kind of just I didn't want to do too much like flashy stuff because I didn't really want to take away from the story, because it was, I don't know, I thought that would be kind of distracting. Just I just wanted to emulate the mood, keep it pretty steady, not overly flashy or anything. Yeah.
Well, great job. We have a couple questions from the audience. Going back to Brody, Jay is asking, Brody, did you compose the music yourself? It did elevate the movie to the next level.
Yeah. All the music you hear from the beginning, the intro, title card to the end credits was stuff I composed and I made for the film. Because it's always so hard to just find copyright free music online, especially one that would fit the mood of the film. And so instead of having that time consuming and maybe even having to compromise the style to just use this free music that wasn't made for it, I just made it myself. And for me, that's the fun part. That's the stuff I've been doing forever, is just making music. And making music for films is just another layer to filmmaking that I love.
Well, thank you, Brody. Jay continues. She says, excellent movie. It breaks my heart a little watching it. I have a question for all the filmmakers. What's your favorite part in the filmmaking process? And I'd like to pass this question to Isabel as the producer. She came on the project as the editor, but then quickly she took the responsibility as the producer. So she's got a pretty holistic view of the movie. So Isabel, what's your favorite part in the filmmaking process?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really just enjoy the whole process of just from the beginning of just having to find actors and just making the whole entire story and sitting with the whole crew and just brainstorming ideas of what this is going to look like, all the way to the end of just finally getting the raw footage in editing and just being able to put it together and like seeing the end result is just so rewarding. Like all this hard work that everyone in the crew has put in, and all this time, especially with all the challenges, because one of the weekends we were filming actually, there was really heavy rain and we had to hike about 15 minutes for that cliffside scene spot that you saw. And so the trail got really muddy and all of our shoes were just so incredibly muddy. And every time the rain was pretty on and off, every time it started raining, we had to hide under this tent that we carried up all the way to the top. And then as soon as it stopped raining, everyone would just run back out and just start filming again and try to not get any of the equipment wet. So just having to go through all the technical difficulties and actual physical difficulties, it's just seeing the end result and editing and being able to put that all together and seeing how it looks is just one of the best feelings. And it's just really rewarding. So
I believe her internet connection will come back here. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Isabel, are you still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, do you mind just going back where you were, what did you just say? Sorry, it broke out for us.
Which part did you hear until?
We heard until the end of hiding under the canopy, and you're talking about that. Right after that is where it broke out.
Yeah, so just going through that of just weather difficulties and finding locations that are COVID safe, and making sure that everyone's distanced, but still being able to film the actors and just finding these amazing actors that, like Darren and Annika, you guys are so great, and this film couldn't have been possible without you guys. And Nathaniel just teaching us so much about the process, and all of us diving into new roles that we didn't know how to do before is just so much fun. And it's just the whole entire process of filmmaking is so fun to me, and it's just all really great.
Thank you, Isabel. Speaking of Darren, we have a question for him. What inspiration did you draw on to immerse yourself in the emotion of your role?
Well, thank you for the question. My inspiration was just personal, really. I mean, the story was about personal loss, a family member, a daughter, really, and unfortunately, having lost people in my family fairly recently, it hit home. So that was something that I was able to draw inspiration for and have that come out, and hopefully, give a real genuine performance and portrayal for it.
What's your approach like? So when you read this description for this project, can you take us through your workflow as an actor, and what's your preparation like?
Well, I read the entire script first, so I understand the character, the entire script. So I not only understand my character, but his relationship with the other character. In this case, it was my daughter. And just have a really good understanding of the script, the relationship, and the circumstances, and and just go from there, and then just live moment to moment, react with my partner moment to moment, and just really provide a very a visceral and a genuine reaction.
What was it like working with Annika?
Oh, she was great. She was great. I mean, she gave me a lot. She fed me a lot to work off on, and she was great. And she was she was with us as Isabel said, hiking up that mountain through all the mud. And I was like kind of worried how they're all going to do that with their shoes, but no, she was a trooper, and she was great. She gave me a lot to work off of.
Well, thank you on behalf of everybody. Thank you for such an incredible performance and your dedication to it during a pandemic, no less.
Oh, thank you for letting me be a part of it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Question for Isabel. Can you tell us about the COVID precautions that were taken, and what were the challenges regarding that? Given all of the class was online, except we carved out 2 production weekends with a COVID safe set. But yeah, could you tell us about that, Isabel?
So this film was definitely one of the biggest challenges we had was definitely the whole COVID precautions and trying to make sure that everyone stays 6 feet apart and is wearing masks, but still being able to film and produce a really good film. So, as I was producing it and script writing, we had to think about choosing locations that we could actually film at. So, for example, Trinity originally wrote that we would have that opening scene in a gas station in a convenience store, but obviously that wasn't possible with COVID precautions, and just filming in a busy place without wearing masks is just too dangerous. So we had to change stuff in the script to fit those COVID precautions. And also when actually filming, we had to just like when we had to eat lunches, we all had to stay far apart, and we just had to. It was definitely a challenge to make sure that we were choosing the right locations and that everyone was staying safe.
Well, I have to say everyone did a good job COVID monitoring the set. Everybody was wearing their mask and staying far apart, and I think everybody did a good job. And it's a month later, and none of us have gotten sick. So congratulations for that. That's a great success. We have a few comments. Ethan says, congratulations, teen producers. Great work and great discussion. He followed up saying, nice discussion. Congrats, teen producers. And then Jay says, for Darren, thank you so much for delivering the story through your perspective and performance, Darren. You and Anika had great chemistry.
Oh, thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. Thank you again. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. It was great. It was a wonderful experience.
Dean, do you have any questions for your team? Do you have any closing thoughts? I'd like to hear a little bit about from Trinity about what it was like as a writer on set, and then from Joel about the poster. But I want to start with you, Dean.
Yeah, so it was amazing. So I was working with everyone pre-production. I was working with Trinity. She sent me the script, and I had to, figure out the shots, and then which I sent to Ryan. And then with Darren and Anika, it was really fun working with them, and giving critiquing anything that I felt needed to be critiqued. But for the most part, it was just really fun and really nicely done by Darren and Anika. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. It was great.
Question for you, Dean, coming from Andrew, and thank you for all the questions, Andrew. We really appreciate them. It's helping the discussion. This was very well written and executed. Did the team build camaraderie during the process?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it was.
I would say yes. I saw a lot of camaraderie going on with you and Ryan as you developed the script, and then you with Isabel during post-production. And can you take us through the workflow from beginning to end? Some people are more familiar with the process than others. So could you walk us through from beginning to end of what the process was like? Just briefly.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was just Trinity really like focusing on what the story should overall like revolve around. And as a group, we all during our meetings, we would just try and pitch out different ideas, how it actually how it actually turn out. And during like the first 2 weeks, it was like very complicated because there were many challenges that we faced on how the story would actually like look in the end, because we expected we didn't even know if there was going to be a girl or guy. We didn't know how the story was going to be. Luckily, we all finally came to a conclusion of Cold Shoulder and how it should look. And yeah, so then after that, I had to line up the script, the shots that I wanted, the emotions I wanted sort to evoke, like in the audience, or what I wanted to feel. And yeah, during production, which was personally my favorite part about it, because I got to talk with the actors, and I also got to work with Ryan and Brody with the sound and the overall shot design and look of it. And then from there, yeah,
Well, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dean. Go ahead.
And then
jump in if you don't have anything.
Who beautifully executed the editing, and yeah, that was it, and sound design.
Awesome. Joyce says, excellent job, team. The movie was well done. Definitely a tearjerker. So I think, what Darren was saying about the loss and drawing from personal experience, I hope nobody has had to deal with loss too much, but as Darren knows, it's real and it's a part of life, especially given the pandemic. I think society as a whole and individually we're being affected by loss more than we think. And I think this film is partially dedicated to all those people who have been lost their life due to the pandemic and have been affected by it. Whether we're conscious of that or not, I think it definitely had an effect on the writing of it from an outside perspective, looking in. I want to ask Joel, how did you go about creating the poster?
So I guess you notice that the Olivia character, she's in the poster, she's fully cloaked, she's very much silhouetted, and that's because I wanted to kind of make her like ominous. You don't really know what's going on with her yet, to draw intrigue. And then we have our main character in like the most we only had so much material to work with, like in the behind the scenes. That's the picture I could find that he was in the most daunted. I mean, there was no him being like scared, so that was the best picture I could find. And then the flower, that's just to represent the tulips that Olivia was talking about and that were placed on her grave. And then sorry, and then the font, that's, and also the particle effect, that's to give like a cold kind of feeling, because after all, it is called Cold Shoulder.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you so much. Karima says, was this your first time working with professional actors? How was that? I guess that's for Dean.
Yeah, this was my first time actually producing or like directing a film with a group of people, and I thought that this was a very great experience, and I'm definitely intending on making more. Yeah, that was a great question, Karima. Thank you.
Okay, and then Andrew, it is truly remarkable during this pandemic that you could all come together and creatively develop a story and adapt to the challenges of filming it. It is great to see it crystallize into this amazing production. Bravo. And then Trinity, I have a question for you. Any closing thoughts on loss and family and just from the writer's perspective, were you happy with how the film turned out? What did you learn, and what are your closing thoughts?
Definitely, I'm really happy on how the film turned out. I'm fortunate enough to not have experienced loss on a massive scale so far, but when thinking of the relationship between Olivia and Roger, I think of like the relationship I have with my own father and how we connect. And that's one of the main inspirations of like the relationship between Olivia and Roger. Additionally, it's really amazing how dedicated everyone was on this project. Like Isabel mentioned before, it was raining for 2 of the production days. And I'm pretty sure everyone trashed 1 or 2 pairs of their shoes. We had to walk far in the rain with really heavy equipment in the mud. But overall, I think the dedication everyone put in from pre-production to post-production really made this film what it is.
Quite the troopers to go to those locations, which I think, if I remember correctly, were scouted because of the pandemic concerns. It would be an area away from people where everybody could spread out and have that look of that cliffside trail. So great job finding that location, and everybody's a trooper for going through all of that. Ethan says, thank you, Nathaniel and Jay, for being great mentors and filmmaking teachers. It's a pleasure. It was great working with all of you, and it's an honor to teach you, and you taught me stuff in the making of this film. So great job, everybody, and congratulations. So I think we have time for
you're kind of freezing up on us over here. We can't hear you or see you, or you're completely frozen.
Hey everyone, it's Moises from the Media Arts Center San Diego. I've kind of been producing the StreamYard from behind the scenes. Nathaniel's had some technical issues. I think he's back now. Let's see if he is. Hi Nathaniel, can you hear us?
Yes, I was sorry. I was, everybody went away. I was worried that I was having technical difficulties, and I'm sorry for that. Yes, so in closing, I would like to thank Jay. She was a fellow instructor here at the Digital Gym, and the documentaries that her workshop came up with were touching and amazing. And thank you, Jay. I'd like to thank Ryan and Ethan, and of course, I would like to thank Moises for the great work that he's been doing on the StreamYard. And thank you for being so flexible with the link for the film. I hope everybody enjoyed the film. I hope you enjoyed the class. Like Jay said earlier, we're going to be doing another workshop in the new year. I'm not sure if it will be winter or spring. I think it will be January or February. We're not sure the exact dates yet. For that workshop, I think what we're going to do is have ask everybody who's part of it to write a script beforehand, or we might offer a special little screenwriting workshop that's before the actual production part of the class starts, so that once the production part starts, we can start filming and spend less time on the writing and have some scripts. And I think we're going to make 2 or 3 films rather than just one like we did this time. This workshop was great because everybody got to experience the different roles and what it's like to work as a cohesive team. And I think we're going to up the stakes next time with a couple more films. So there's great opportunities for writing for writers. A couple other people that we haven't mentioned, Megan Gorman. She was a guest speaker early on in the class. She's assistant directed for some Netflix shows, and she's a filmmaker, and she shared her insights with the students. And I would also like to thank Mel Orpin. She is a visiting director filmmaker who worked with the filmmakers and to mentor them on location in the rain. And it was thank you so much, Mel, for helping everybody. And thank you to Dean, Ryan, Brody, Trinity, Ananda, Isabel, Darren, Anika, and Joel. Great job. You get a medal for doing this during a pandemic, because it was not easy making a virtual film. So bravo to everybody. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And just on a personal note, making this film really brings soul back to life, and something I look forward to each week. So thank you, everybody, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you. You taught us so much about this whole thing, and we all learned so many different techniques. And this was like our first time working with like professionals and being in a professional setting, especially with like having Mel on set who actually works in Hollywood teaching us, and just you who just knows so much about film and just passing this on to us. It was such a great experience, and I'm so glad that you were here.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in my area, I could have had a lot of stress doing this and balancing, and then you really motivated and helped me with this, and that made me learn way more than I could have otherwise.
Great work, Brody. Great job. And everybody has a lot of talent. And so I would say that filmmaking is about persistence and effort and the perseverance. And it's a lifelong passion to make art. And so when times are tough, always remember that you're in it because you love it. And like our films, like your film was about, it's about, those you love never die. And that kind of goes towards film as well.
Yeah, thank you, Nathaniel, for everything. I learned a lot during this experience. Also, there's a question about like camaraderie earlier. I think everyone got along really well, and we were kind of all in this circumstance, and we hadn't even met each other before in person before production. But I think under Nathaniel's teaching, we were able to each grow significantly as filmmakers, and we all got along really well.
You're welcome, Trinity.
Nathaniel, you taught me a lot about direction and also line scripts and writing the line script. You definitely assisted that process a lot. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. You're very good instructor. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I got the gist of that. You broke up a little bit, Dean, but I really thank you for the kind words. I think let's I guess call it to a close and say farewell, but not goodbye. And thank you to the Digital Gym, and keep making films. It's I encourage every one of you have a story to tell, and as you can see, it doesn't take much equipment to do it. It's more of what goes into the story that really makes it. Well, I think that's a wrap, and I'll talk to you later. Take care and happy holidays, everyone.
Stay safe. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.